Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Rudy Hunter from rudyhunter.com, huntershealingcalls.com, and the ashworkerstrainинghub.com. That's enough .coms for now. And I'm here with Teddy to teach a couple of important things as we start before we do the work called Quadruped QuickStep. I am very, very lucky. I've been a lifelong animal lover. I've gotten to work on dogs in prison settings and rehabs, horses, oh my God, dolphins, you name it. All the species that there are, or almost all the species that there are. What we're going to do today is I'm going to explain just a little bit about the energetic anatomy of quadrupeds, 4 limbs, so that you can have an understanding about how it is that I get to work remotely and long distance, because that's my practice with people and animals. But from the animal side of things, I work on Italian racehorses and I never leave New York. And I work in Australia on packs of dogs. And again, I never leave the house. I'm not a shut-in, but I used to be. So I'm going to teach you some of the energetic anatomy that's interesting in its own right, so that you'll know when we do the rounds of energetic work to a greater extent what's happening for your cat or dog or horse, or I guess your brother-in-law doesn't really qualify for this. So we'll spend just a couple of minutes. Teddy will be our perfect model. And one of the things that's really helpful to know about this is the energy work is not only very forgiving, but it can get to places where physical manipulation cannot. Or sometimes it will really help the places where it's difficult to do physical manipulation, especially if your animal's in pain or in distress. And I say that because I used to be a bodywork teacher for many, many years and worked on animals physically, with ligaments and muscles and the whole 9 yards, and I would teach that work and loved it. And lo and behold, the energetic work is often a much more precise and forgiving tool. And I'm just going to explain to you for a couple of minutes how that works on a quadruped that's in a very different relationship to gravity than you or I am. Know also that the work we're going to be doing together is not calibrated for people, so you will likely not feel very much if you follow along with us when we do the energetic work. This is for your pets. You might get a little contact high from the work, and that's great. So let's put Teddy in his right relationship as a quadruped to gravity. You and I are upright most of the time, on good days anyway. Quadrupeds have their spine in this relationship to gravity, so it's literally a totally different relationship energetically and to the gravitational force on a quadruped's body. In people, there's a powerful magic place in the meridian system, in acupuncture and acupressure. The meridian known as Bai Hui is the name of it. It's at the very top of the head. It's the crown of the head. Now, animals have a crown, but their crown functions differently than ours does. For people, it's called Bai Hui, or 100 meeting point. My personal experience from working internally and energetically for so many years on people is it's the many thousand meeting points. There's a lot of things that intersect, cross, and activate there. A lot happens here on your animal friend, but Bai Hui is in a different place on a quadruped's body. Bai Hui is actually found between and slightly above the hips. This is Bai Hui on your quadruped. So the work that I would do here on a person and do there on a person actually mostly happens here, between, in the center, and slightly above the hips. The crown I still do work on, and these two places talk, but this one is by far the leader. This is the strongest intrinsic force in a quadruped's energetic system. So the limbs, 1, 2, 3, 4 arms and legs, or front paws and back legs, however you want to call them, I just call them arms and legs. They are the 4 extensions that keep these 2 points active. The proprioception, that's a $100 word for the neurological parts of the body that tell the brain where the rest of the body is in space. This is our internal sense of knowing where we are, where our hand is at any given moment, where our left toe is at any given moment. So the proprioceptive capabilities in animals that suffer trauma, difficulty, stress, they can be affected just the same way they can in people, but in an animal or quadruped's life, it's a way bigger deal. This is linked directly to survival. If an animal doesn't know where it is in space, it's under immediate threat, and it's very aware of this fact. That's hardwired into the circuitry. So part of what we're doing in Quadruped QuickStep, which we'll be starting shortly, is we're activating, what's that, the left leg's connected to that? We're doing the energetic version of that. We're waking up all of the sensors in the arms and legs, the four paws and the back paws, the front and the back, the arms and the legs. We're waking up the crown, and we are paying particular attention to what's technically called the 100 meeting point, the engine above and between the hips. Energetically, it's a complex maneuver. If you had to do it physically, it would take 1,000 times more work, and it would be much, much longer. Energetically, I'll go pretty quickly. But I want you to know what we're doing is we're taking the animal's attention, whether it's your cat or your horse or your guinea pig or your cow. I live in the woods, so we have bears on the property. So if it's a fox or a bear or a barnyard animal or a Doberman or whoever it is, or it's just Kitty who runs your house, I see you. I know Kitty runs your house. Whoever it is, we're waking up the proprioceptive capabilities in the nervous system, connecting them not only to itself, which is its sense of proprioception, knowing where it is in space, but we're connecting it to all of the other important places that I've just outlined: the four limbs, the crown, and by way. That means we're doing an awful lot of combinations of paying attention in what will be just a few rounds of energetic work. Now, you don't have to know anything about this. I just thought you'd find it interesting. And I know if you're an energy work fan, no one's ever explained this to you, because I've spent the last 30 years discovering it, paying attention to how to turn it on, how to activate it, so that balance is restored, homeostasis, literal holding an animal holding itself up in space improves, so that its balance and symmetry and its function will align. That's the net result of bothering to explain this and doing the work itself, is that your animal has a stronger sense of itself in space, and all of the parts, the four paws, the back legs, and the overall structure, and the command centers, the crown and by way in particular, they are all activated together. That's why we do it, so that there's more harmony and an easier sense of flow and capability in your animal. But don't take my word for it. Use your own eyes. Watch your animal when they do this work. They will give you all kinds of responses. And it's not just to my voice. I mean, I will tell you a lot of animals swoon to my voice, not because I say so, because clients have told me for years that's what happens when they play recordings of me. That's not just the nature of my voice. That's because even I've already started, we've set up a little energetic frequency to begin with, and we'll do much more of that as we do the rounds. But they are reorganizing themselves around new energetic information, and animals do it quickly, elegantly, so much more simply than we do. We struggle as people to do that. The animals let go. They yawn, they fart, they poop, they pee, they stretch, they maneuver in response to new input, and that's what we'll be doing, is new input. So I know that was a lot of blah, 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 and you don't have to know anything about it. You won't be tested on it. But I think it's interesting to know just how the invisible world inside an animal differs slightly from inside us, and where most of my attention will be. It will be in those 6 areas: crown, byway, and the 4 extremities. And I'm going to connect them all up in a way that's easy for your quadruped, your chum, to understand and to know. So that's what we're going to be doing. So if you're ready, what I'd like you to do is really simple. Just be as you are. Your animal ideally is with you or nearby. If they're far away, keep them in mind while we do the work. That's all that's required. I'm going to do just a couple of rounds. It'll seem like very little. And just a reminder, it's not for you. You may have some experiences. You may or may not, but it isn't specifically coded for you. It's coded for your chum. So be as you are, be safe and sound, which means no driving, no operating heavy machinery. If you can have your animal nearby, that's a beautiful thing. If not, hold them in mind. We'll get our first round started. You'll see me close my eyes. You might see some quiet mumbling. Don't worry, you don't have to know what that means. I barely know myself, but I know it's helpful in flicking the switches on that we need to have flicked on for your chum. All right, we'll go for a couple of minutes. I'll call us back when it's time. Here we go. Okay, bring your attention back if you would. The next round we're going to dive immediately into will be very short. This is going to be a numerical round of combinations. That is stitching up the 4 extremities with the crown and the 100 meeting point, or the 1,000 meeting point in my estimation. So it'll be brief. I'll let you know when we're done, and we'll get it started right now. Okay, bring your attention back. Your animal that you're working with, you may or may not have in their history any trauma that you know of. Your animal could have an entire history of trauma. That's mostly the animals I work with. And you may not know what the specifics are. You may suspect that there's trauma. The behavior may suggest that, but you may not know the specifics. Here's the great news. One of the things I'm most proud of this time around in this lifetime is the many energetic ways we can unlock trauma in the nervous system that don't require reliving of it. So I'm going to do one of those with you now that's coded specifically for your animal friends. This makes everything easier. This makes regular life easier. This makes eating and pooping and digesting and moving and balance, you name it, it makes everything easier. And when it comes to proprioception and function, all of that is easily improved. So I'm going to do that now. You'll hear me do some mumbling noises you don't have to be concerned about. Just keep your attention on, you know what, you don't even have to keep your attention on anything. This will go in and do the work for you. And we'll get it started right now. Good. Come on back to now. And just as a reminder, don't take my word for any of this. Use your own eyes, make your own judgments, watch your animal after these rounds are complete every time that you run them. Every time that your animal spends time listening to my voice and experiencing the energy work, you'll notice shifts. And you'll be able to see that with your own eyes. If you couldn't see it with your own eyes, I would just qualify as a nutter. So the improvements that you'll see are a very real thing, even though how those get unlocked are invisible. That's energy work. That's just the nature of it. I'm going to do one more piece just to help a sense of expansion and ease with your quadruped, with your animal, with your friend, with your chum. All right? You can rest your attention on your relationship with your animal. That would be a nice, gentle resting place. We'll go for just a minute or two. I'll let you know when we're done. We'll get that round started right now. And there we go. Just allow your attention to drift back to now. Remember, this is coded specifically for your animal friend, not for you, but if you notice some good experiences as a result, that's great. More power to the energetic work. So before I leave you, just a quick reminder, 3 websites to check out because there's all kinds of tools littered throughout them. They're for you, your animal chums, your friends, your family, and those are available every day of the year, 24 hours a day. And the sites are rudyhunter.com, huntershealingcalls.com, and the ashworkerstrainинghub.com. Go check them out and please tell your friends about them. There's some really useful tools to help you and your chums out of difficult situations. So, until the very next time we are together, for Teddy and myself, this is Rudy Hunter. Bye for now.